the Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
You have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
All right, we're back. Took the holiday off. Hope you had a good 4th of July. Although by now it's gonna be like 2 weeks later. I'm Chris.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. I hope everyone's around you has exhausted their supply of fireworks by this point.
Especially you.
Yeah. It was like a war zone.
Yeah, it's. I know every 4th of July what it would sound like if you lived somewhere where there were firefights going on all the time. It's goddamn. And then we had the one show where they were celebrating early.
Oh, the whole like a whole month up until it was a regular weekend occurrence to hear some fireworks. And the week before 4th of July, it was damn near every night.
Has it died down?
Yeah, there's been some like aftershocks, some minor events here and there, but yeah, I think everyone blew up everything they had on the weekend of the holiday. I mean, I don't deny it was fun. I didn't like hearing it constantly up until that point, up until the 4th.
Sure,
but
your cats were juiced.
Oh, my cats hate it, but I could just walk outside and walk around the block with my daughter and fireworks everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had that much fun watching fireworks in a long time.
Fireworks are a big deal everywhere. I think it was just another thing to do for everybody.
Yeah.
Because a lot of displays were canceled too. So, I mean, they didn't have the one around here where I could just go out on the porch and watch it. That was axed a long time ago. They didn't.
Well, it was the government that was handing out the fireworks.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
To cover up the gun violence and police actions that they want to take, or, I don't know, people killing themselves in the inner city or something.
Yeah. Because our government could handle that right now. They can barely handle their regular job, let alone something nefarious.
Yeah, so we had the holiday. We just missed July 10th was National Kitten Day.
Oh, I'm sure the internet celebrated appropriately. There are just kitten memes everywhere, kitten videos.
I guess when I actually looked into it to see if there was actually something to National Kitten Day or if it was just everyone shares videos on social media, which would mean that it would be no different than any other day.
Right.
But it is about adoption, or basically
okay.
It's promoting the idea of if you want a cat, get a kitten from a shelter or a cat from a shelter. I mean, really, it shouldn't even be National Kitten Day then. It should be National Adopt Your Cats, assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is much more rampant amongst dog lovers. Especially it seems more now. Do you think, doesn't it seem like you see a lot more pure breeds than mutts out there?
Sure. I don't really. Well,
Don't pay attention.
Well, no, but yeah, with all the what am I trying to say? Like the bag dogs, the purse dogs, that kind of shit. Yeah.
Well, pure breed or not even pure breed, but specific breed, like some crossbred. You know, people want a specific thing out of their dog, and they buy that thing. They don't go to a shelter and go, which one of these do I think would make a good companion, would go well with my family?
Yeah, people. Yeah,
it does say which one matches my couch, which one, can I carry in a purse?
Well, like my sister, when they got a dog, her son's allergic, so they had to get a hypoallergenic dog.
Yeah, I understand those concerns, and I guess you can get those weird cats with the no hair.
Let me get a not a cat, please.
Yes, yeah, give me the not a cat. Well, it's one of the best jokes from Friends. I think it was Joey that was freaked out by the hairless cat. He's like, that is not a cat.
I've seen. Like I think I've seen 15 minutes of Friends in my entire life.
Yeah. Well, like most Friends jokes, it really doesn't hold up when you try and tell somebody else. Well, see, what you have to understand is that Ross and Rachel, you'd have to explain Friends for somebody, and then you might as well have them watch it.
To me, that show doesn't seem to have like this lasting. Like when it was on, it was definitely like a thing, but it doesn't seem to like.
Oh, it had a big resurgence just because of how many seasons there are. I don't want to say a big resurgence, but much like it was one of those shows. Remember when we were kids, we would watch Nick at Night, and they would do the Monkees or some other ones that I watched a lot of those, but some were more popular than others. Like I would watch anything on Nick at Night pretty much.
Oh yeah.
My three sons.
Donna Reed.
Yeah.
I watched it too. Car 54, where are you? All that old
what was
shit.
the one with what were the twins?
Oh, Patty Duke.
Like the talking, the Patty Duke. Yeah, Patty Duke show.
But it seems like it, especially the last few months, all these shows keep coming up, and Friends. Just maybe because I didn't watch, but Friends didn't seem to be one of them. I was got back into The Office. Seinfeld seems to, half the thing when you watch Seinfeld now is like, I know it's become a trope, but it's true. A cell phone fixes half of their things. Half of the Seinfeld jokes or half of the plot. Like the Chinese restaurant episode wouldn't even exist if they all had they had a cell phone. But I haven't heard like this reference for Friends.
They would have a premise that they would set up in the diner. Somebody would Google it, and that would end the conversation.
Yeah. But I haven't seen this. But maybe you have like this resurgence for Friends in the last few months, and yeah, there were weren't they on for like 10 years?
Now, people are streaming the hell out of it on Netflix, or I'm not sure what's going on with the rights. I think at some point it's going to go over the Peacock. It seems like that would be something you'd want to launch with. Which, if you have Xfinity, so you actually get the Peacock for free.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yep. It was already preloaded on my Flex. I think that's what they call the thing, the little device that they sent me. It's supposed to be a streaming box, so I'm supposed to log into all my apps through that thing. And then I can get all my stuff in one place.
I'm doing the beta. I'm doing the straight up streaming. Like this time they sent me no equipment. On Roku, they're doing a beta of your Xfinity service just being like everything else.
Right.
So but I'm not sure if the Peacock's in I'll have to look, see if it's in there.
Yeah, Friends was definitely not on there, but you can watch every episode of 30 Rock was on there, Office was on there, a lot of SNL, and Parks and Rec.
How is one of your most popular shows of the last 30 fucking years not on that thing?
I don't know.
Who is in charge over there?
Well, the app looks like shit too. Like literally, not just has a bad user interface, but doesn't seem to be in high def. Like the content is all high def, but your menus and all the tiles and everything are not. And maybe that's just something with the box that Xfinity sent me. But it's a really weird, and it has just a very shit menu, like all these services do, that are all trying to do something like Netflix. And then they have a live TV site as well, where they're just constantly running episodes of SNL or whatever. There's multiple channels. So there's an Office channel, and the Office channel runs...
So it just runs everything in shuffle.
Not even full episodes. It runs little bits of like, hey, remember when what's his name dropped the chili? That was funny, wasn't it? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not funny because he falls and drops the chili. It's funny like in context of the episode and the build up of him talking about his chili and also knowing about this character and how much he loves food. And it like when you take, like, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, remember that Office skit, that was funny, but when you just watch them out of order like that, it doesn't add up to anything. Like, sure, there's some slapsticky like stuff here and there that's kind of fun on its own, like the whole cold open where they're doing the parkour.
Yeah.
But it's a weird concept for us to just make a channel that's just random parts of The Office.
It just dawned on me that's probably not for us. It's for people half our age with attention spans half our size, probably.
I guess, but why not just have...
For people who watch things like TikTok and Vine.
Why not just run all the episodes in order, one after another, on a constant loop? And then you can just turn it on and go, okay, what episode's on now? Oh, yeah, I remember. This is a season 4 episode. Mm-hmm. This is before they even got together, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, and just pick up wherever.
Everyone inside the car was fine, Stanley. That's one of my favorite lines.
What is that in reference?
When he hit Meredith. And he was going to drive everybody to the hospital. And he was like, you just hit somebody with your car. It's like, everybody inside the car was fine, Stanley. No, but yeah, that's... And I don't... And again, I'm going to just file this under, like... It's something aimed at 25 years. CBS started this shit of like, hey, we're a free TV channel, but now we're going to give you a pay service. No. And all it does is they put stuff on there like they have on what's that show with Walter Goggins, the unicorn or whatever. That's on the on the CBS version.
Right. They put some exclusive shows on there.
Yeah, to get you to pay for stuff that's already free, but it's just turn your already free channel into that. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying with NBC too. Like, you have a channel. You've had it for many years. Just turn it into that. Yeah,
I guess the full rollout's going to be this week.
TV signals went digital 15 years ago.
And I guess there is a free version.
Yeah, it's called Channel 4. Yeah.
So the service offers a free ad-supported tier. And then it's $5 a month if you want to, I guess, cut out all the ads.
Free ad-supported tier. So regular TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. You'll get about half of the library options on the free tier. If you want access to everything, you pay $5 a month. But man, we're talking about the shows that we enjoy and have already seen numerous times. We've seen all these episodes of The Office and 30 Rock and all that stuff over and over again. But I'm looking at this article about the types of things that are on there. I mean, Dick Wolf his shit is just all over there, and people eat that shit up and can just consume that voraciously with no end in sight. Chicago this, Chicago that, SVU.
Yeah.
All that shit, plus the Real Housewives and Top Chef.
Oh, that's right. I always forget NBC owns a bunch of cable channels.
Law and Order, like all that shit for $5 a month. I think they've got their price point right. I mean, clearly people aren't just going to throw $5 a month at just anything. Look at what happened. Did you see the results of Quibi had their expiration of their free trial period?
And let me guess, nobody wanted it.
80% of the people who had signed up for the free trial canceled their subscription.
Well, because
and declined giving Quibi any money for the content that they were producing.
Well, part of it was the content, right? Like, first of all, you're trying to start a new concept. Hey, 10-minute shows. No, we're all used to a half-hour show. Sorry, it's just how it is. But second,
well, you're trying to start a platform with no content that people are familiar with already.
But then that too, unfamiliar content, and from what I've heard, not very good content.
And content that it was supposed to change the way that you viewed it. Or I think just it was a misunderstanding of how many people actually did change the way they view content.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, more people are watching stuff on their phone than ever. But that doesn't mean that that's the primary way that people want to watch stuff. It's just that, if they're stuck in traffic or waiting at the doctor's office and they can go, I can just pop up an episode of 30 Rock and watch it.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
They're not. That's not how. When they go home and they want to watch Billions, they're not going to go, oh, where's my iPhone? Let me set this up and hold it in front of my face for the next hour.
Well, like what TV programmers and radio programmers have failed to understand in the last 15 years, it's all about the pause button. That is the game changer. The fact that you can stop it and start it that's it. That is
yes.
it. It is not fuck all this research you've been doing. That's really what it is. That's why podcasts have become what they are. Because you can start it and stop it at your leisure. That's why video streaming has become what it is. You can start it and stop it at your leisure. That's all it is.
People have played with trying to find that sweet spot for podcast content, and they found that it really depends on who your listenership is, right? Mm-hmm. Some shows do translate to a 10, 15-minute bite or an under half-hour episode, and others do really well in a longer format.
Yeah.
It just depends. If you've got the right content aiming for the right audience. Quibi, I don't know who their audience was. I don't know what their philosophy behind their content was other than, hey, you only like to watch content in 15-minute bites on your phone. And I'm like, no, I don't. I've done that sometimes, and you have to take a long shit at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched something on my phone. I'm not going to pay $5 a month to watch shit while I shit.
Correct. It's called YouTube.
It is called YouTube. That's exactly the problem, too. Is they're like, hey, people are getting all this content for free on YouTube. What if we put it all on a different site and ask people to pay for it?
And we all said, no.
No, absolutely not. And they're blaming COVID on this. We launched during COVID,
yeah,
right?
Get the fuck out.
You launched content during a time where everyone's staying inside and looking for new things to watch.
Yeah,
people are look. Shit's already like, where's my next episode of Billions?
Yeah,
like what the fuck?
How many times?
Let's get back to work, Hollywood.
How many times have either of us said in the last 4 months, like, man, if you own something in the digital space right now, good for you.
Yeah.
We are all have been and still are ravenous for content. How many times have we both talked about I got to the end of Netflix today.
Yeah, so the real problem is I mean, COVID, I'm sure, affected that because now you don't have anybody really watching stuff on their phones because they all have TVs in their houses that they can cast it to.
Yeah.
And they don't need it in 15-minute bites because in 15 minutes they're going to go, now what the fuck am I going to do? Right? Yeah. Watching this was the only thing stopping me from thinking about what the fuck is going on in the world. And now it's over. And that was only 15 minutes. So unless you have 80 episodes of this show, fuck off.
Yeah. Well, and again, too, apparently nothing was engaging enough to catch anybody's interest.
Nothing by the elevator pitch for any of these shows. I didn't hear or read any of them that made me go, oh, I think I need to check that out.
The only thing I know for sure...
And I'm a whore for content, man. I'll watch anything. I'll watch your show at least once.
It's... The only show I know for sure was on there was Judge Show with Chrissy Teigen. I couldn't tell you anything else that was on Quibi.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net. At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to sold.
Pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
As a professional painter, you know your customers want a flat finish, but don't want to pay the price of fighting dirt, grime, and scuffs. Use new Bare Ultra Scuff Defense from the Home Depot for a beautiful flat finish, plus stain and scuff defense. And that price starts at just $29.60 a gallon. And that's before the Pro Extra discount. A flat paint that's too tough to scuff. Bare Ultra Scuff Defense. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available online and in select stores.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Yep. They should have rebooted something, right? That don't.
Yeah.
If they had like a big. Well, look, our thirst for reboots is endless. We're getting the newest. We're getting more Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. And they're going to be parents to Gen Zers.
It's official.
It's going to be fucking great. You don't think you got to hand Mike Judge? He knows his audience. He knows who watches his shit. You know, Beavis and Butthead prime example. He realized probably trying to aim it at the 18 to 34s now probably wouldn't work. Aim it at the people who were watching you 20 years ago.
Yeah. And Mike Judge, look, I'm not trying to oversell this, but Mike Judge is a real artist. And I'm not trying to even be facetious in saying that, because I know like a lot of the things that he's made has been looked upon as lowbrow humor. I mean, he was basically hailed as bringing lowbrow humor back into television in the 90s. You know, Beavis and Butthead was broadcasting alongside like Aeon Flux, which was trying to be as like fucking high concept and sleek and crazy as possible, and it was all about the future and sexy, and Beavis and Butthead was like the complete opposite.
Frog baseball.
And it was and that's why it appealed to us too. It was much like in the same way that grunge music really got its hooks in the people, because it was something so different from the direction that the rest of the world seemed to be going in, of glossy, bright colored, slick. We're going into, everything's about technology and the internet and the future and computers. And
it reminded you that sometimes that being stupid is funny.
Yes. That there's slaps. There's still a story to be told within slapstick and crude humor.
Yeah.
And that's why I call him an artist, because he's able to take the things that he knows, he's able to take the experiences that he's had in his life, and he knows how to translate those into bigger stories that appeal to a great number of people. And he's done that with I think he's done that successfully with just about everything that he's attempted. It hasn't always found its audience right away, but I think he's always successful in what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and so many things that he's done have become a part of pop culture, right? I mean, Idiocracy references all the time. King of the Hill was on for like fucking 15 years and nobody really nobody noticed. You know,
right, between
Silicon Valley, Office Space. How many jokes are still made from Office Space to this day by people?
I think only second to The Simpsons, as far as how much that has become ingrained into American culture, and that. Yeah, I mean, what else do we reference on? Like, we can, our generation especially, can throw around Simpsons quotes and people know exactly what we're talking about. And there's many things like that we can do with, Beavis and Butthead, Cornholio.
Yeah, well, who doesn't see
Cornholio and somebody laughs?
TP for my bunghole. We see. How many people our age see a swing line stapler? Who does not think of Milton?
Yeah.
It was the red swing line.
Yeah. Go to a restaurant where they have buttons on their vest now.
Flair.
Talk about flair. So, I am just, at this point, I've come to realize I am a diehard fan of Mike Judge. I don't see how you can fail on this.
And he's apparently...
Because...
He's tight with the copyrights. It's hard to find a Beavis and Butthead song on one that works on YouTube. Sorry. Continue.
Oh well, they're not. Yeah, I don't think they're going to have videos or anything.
No, I'm just trying to find the theme song.
Oh right. Oh, I get you.
And every video I find keeps going out. This video was taken down. Apparently, he's on his legal game.
Well, that's another thing, because Mike Judge is really smart, and I don't think he does any of this for the money, right? He already made his money in Silicon Valley and tech, and then decided to do this stuff. And, if he's deciding that now's the time for a new Beavis and Butthead, right? I mean, no doubt, I'm sure somebody, whoever owns the rights now, or if anybody does, I guess Viacom, CBS, according to this article, we're reaching out to him going, hey, isn't it time to reboot Beavis and Butthead? It doesn't matter to me if it starts with a tech exec, an exec that, is saying, oh, what other things can we reboot that people would automatically love? It matters to me that whether Mike Judge says, yeah, I think I can do something with that. And if he's clearly signed on for 2 seasons of this, I can't wait.
And Jumpin' Networks been on MTV in some iteration for the last 25 years.
What is MTV anymore? I mean, people still watch it. Did all of that MTV content go somewhere? Is it on one of the streaming services?
Oh, according to one of the podcasts I listen to, all they do is rerun Ridiculousness. He calls it the Ridiculous channel.
Right. So, all those years of all those stupid reality shows and game shows, none of that goes to any service where, oh, you know what?
Well, last time I checked, there's now 1,000 MTVs.
Yeah, it's like Pluto and Tubi and those ad-based streaming services. That's where all that content went. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. Well, Viacom aren't they about to launch their own service here soon? So
which one would that be?
I mean, I've been hearing it for years that Viacom's going to be launching their own, and it would just be all the Viacom stations.
Oh, I thought, but they own CBS, right?
Oh, so who knows?
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean that they can't do this. I mean, look at HBO Max.
Yeah.
Right? HBO Max shows up 2 years after DC, whatever their streaming service is called. It's still there. And all of that content, right? So DC was pushing their streaming service based on original content. Every week, we're going to have a new original show that you can watch. And they did that. And a lot of the shows were of very high quality. Doom Patrol, I think, is one of the best shows that's on television right now, honestly. But Doom Patrol started going over to the HBO Max way. Stargirl was another show that they had that was going to be their big exclusive show. And, you know, big live-action superhero show in the tradition of a lot of the CW, the Flash and the Green Arrow stuff. And then sure enough, now the season 2 of that show is going to CW. So, yeah, DC Universe, that's what it's called, it's a dead app walking, and nobody wants to admit it. And I don't know who's paying for it anymore. The Harley Quinn show, they've had great success with their animated Harley Quinn show. That's going to be going to HBO Max now. They've had season 1 of it is available on the Sci-Fi channel as well. So they're making good content. Nobody's watching it on the app, and they're realizing that they got to put it on other places.
Well, it's true. I've always wondered. I mean, going back to the Peacock, and you brought up that, you know, CBS. CBS has their own one. I'm sure ABC's coming. You know, well they're Disney Plus. What?
Yeah.
Is Hulu just going to go away? Because from what I originally understood, Hulu was it was every network but CBS going in on a platform together.
Well, I think we're going to see some of the... It was just announced that Disney is going back they're going to reboot The Punisher, and they're going to still go with John Barenthal, who played The Punisher in the Netflix series. So, because of the demand, I think there's been either rumors, I don't know if any of this has been officially confirmed, but Daredevil was another show that they're looking to go back to that original cast. And yeah, I don't think they can do it as a continuation of the Netflix stuff. There's probably still some licensing issues there, but they still love the actors, and the fans do as well. So they're like, let's just do the show again with the same actors. So where those shows go is going to tell us what the future of Hulu is going to be, because The Punisher and Daredevil have, you know, some bad words in them, and some not nudity, just more sexual situations, and certainly a lot more violent than what happens in your average Avengers movie or Disney movie.
I think Disney's gotten over that stuff, though.
To what degree, though? That's the question. And the value of Hulu as a brand is pretty solid. You know, as a name brand, it's got a lot of value to it. So if you can have your separate service that has the stuff that you don't feel officially belongs under the Disney name, you know, so maybe the Alien and Predator franchises go over there. Who knows?
So they put all their risque programming. Yeah, put it on Hulu.
Either way, they're gonna find a way to shuffle around all this content. All of these streaming services will combine and split off again, and the dent in our wallets will just continue to increase.
Yeah.
This thing about, well, it's like, you know, trying to sell electric car based on, aren't you sick of paying for gas? Yeah, but that's not how cars work, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you pay for a car, for whatever technology it takes to drive that car, you're paying for it in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance, you know, certainly. Okay, so you're paying less in electricity versus what you would have paid in gas. But then if something breaks down and you've got a battery problem, that battery's a lot more money to replace than if you just had a problem with your fuel pump in most cars. So there's a trade-off with everything. And in the end, yeah, we're still going to pay money for content. We're going to pay more than ever because we love it. And they're just going to there's just gonna be more nipples on the sow that we can suckle on. Right? They may move around. We'll combine a few here.
And then Disney will put those nipples on Hulu.
Yeah. One of those nipples will be Hulu, and one will be Disney. Maybe they'll just have a whole separate, 20th Century Fox streaming service that you can pay another $5 for.
Oh, I'm waiting for this to come back around. And hey, look, there's a Netflix channel. Wait, it's not. I'm waiting for somebody to do that. Oh, we just made a Disney Plus channel, and you can get it with your cable package now. No, that's you've now come back around, and you've just made a TV channel again.
Right. Everyone's watching the Hamilton.
Not me.
Have you managed to avoid it? Yeah, me neither. I've not seen it. I've not intentionally listened to a song. I've heard enough to know that it's definitely really not remarkable in the song department, both in songwriting, production, and rapping. All of them are like subpar. If this was a high school production, it'd be like, oh, these kids have a future. But really? So
I used to play in pit bands, and I'm just that part of my life is over. All right,
yeah.
And I have no interest in it, just from what I've heard too. And quite honestly, I'm in the Larry David camp as well. Have you heard how he thinks that white people say they like Hamilton because they feel they have to?
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of with that. Like, and also too, I know all this. I paid attention in history class. I know the stories that they're telling. I didn't need rap music for me to pay attention to them. Hamilton moves my needle not one. Doesn't nothing. Doesn't even quiver and think about moving. And
but the most fascinating thing to me about Hamilton is that it did not inspire a spate of shows where they just recast everyone as black or Hispanic. And we're like, I don't know.
Well, no, like what they did with The Wiz.
Rent. Oops, all blacks.
Yeah. Oh man. No, because too, you got to be careful with that stuff. I wonder if you could do The Wiz now. Hey, it's the All Black Wizard of Oz. Like, part of me says yes, and part of me goes, not sure if the woke police would let people get away with that. I mean, the other part is it would give a bunch of black actors work, right? So there's one in the pro column. Any interest from your kids at all, or no? They want nothing to do with it.
Nope, not interested. If it inspires people to be more educated about the history of our country and find out some things they might not have known, that's great.
I think you should already know by this point.
But it seems like it's just, look, this is a story, right? It's a play. Mm-hmm. I know that that Lin-Manuel Miranda did a lot of research for this, and he's trying to be as factually accurate about the material as you can in presenting a drama. I'm sure there's some things that get moved around, like any movie any biography movie, they're going to well, let's say that his mother died on the day that he did the big concert, because then we can really tie these things together. Mm-hmm. Right? So does that completely change the story? No, but to just say that now, okay, I'm accepting this as how it happened instead of this making you more curious about American history, I don't know.
What I know about Hamilton is I know that's why Lin-Manuel Miranda's famous. And it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Jesus Christ.
When a Judd Apatow movie's that long, I want to kill myself.
Well,
let alone a musical.
Here's the other thing I don't understand about Hamilton. And I guess all Broadway in general, what is with this market-driven pricing?
What do you mean?
Well, I understand that a production like this is expensive. And I don't expect, if I want a ticket to see full musical, all the people involved in making it. I listened to a show on 20,000 Hertz that was just all about talking to the people who did the music and the sound and everything, and how they want a really clean sound everything. So they're only opening the mics when there's lines, which means that you don't sit there with a script. You literally have the whole thing memorized so that he's going to say something next. I have to have his mic open. So you're like, that person running that board is like two-handed, like it's an 88-key piano.
Dude, I bet you it's something like, damn, I bet you it's two people.
Oh, yeah, no, they talked to one person. I think her job was just to focus on the dialogue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's many other people who are doing other, all the audio cues and sound effects and all that stuff. So, but anyway, all I'm saying is, yeah, I get it. It's a big production. There's a lot going into it. I'd understand it would be a big ticket to pay for, but the demand drove the ticket prices way up.
That's just how Broadway works. That's how it's always been.
And it's not scalpers.
Yeah, it's just if there's high demand for your show, you can raise. And I'm with you there.
But to the degree, I get that if your demand goes up, that you can charge more.
Yeah, but they don't do it with like movies, like with Avengers, right?
They don't, right?
They did. Well, it's $25 this weekend because everyone wants to see it. No.
Yeah. They don't, because it doesn't cost them any more because more people want to see it. The production doesn't cost them anymore. So where does all that money go? And it's also, especially if you're trying to do a story that's supposed to be, it's presented as something that is both educational to a degree, right? And inclusive, and has a 3 to 4 digit ticket price.
And I think it's ironic.
That's not inclusive.
That's trying to be inclusive based on
yes,
what time
I get
what time
it.
of history it's about.
You did some, I'm sure they did some outreach. I'm sure there were performances for people who couldn't afford to see the show. I'm sure blah, blah, blah. And then you went back to doing, $1,200 seats. Who gets all that fucking money?
Lin-Manuel Miranda?
I guess. I just hope the performers are well taken care of.
Well, stuff like that, they're in unions, all that shit. Like when you're on Broadway, yeah, there's
a
lot of mechanisms in place for the performers to make sure that they get taken care of.
Yeah.
I think it's the off-Broadway stuff where people get screwed.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering who gets a percentage of the door and who gets the flat rate. But I don't know. I never saw Titanic. Won't see Hamilton.
It took me, I think, 10 years to see Titanic, and I only saw it once. I think I finally broke down in 2007, and the woman I was dating at the time put it on when we were going to sleep. I'm like, all right, fine. And I'm with all those internet memes. He could have fit on that fucking board. All right.
What?
You've never seen all the things on the internet that show? Well, spoiler alert: Leo dies at the end of the movie. She's floating on a door.
Oh!
And she lets him go. He could have fit on that door.
We're talking about Titanic.
Yes.
I got you. For some reason, I went back to Hamilton. Did they crucify him?
Yeah, I have no idea about the plot line of Hamilton. I just know Leo could have fit on that door. I couldn't even tell you what anything sounds like from Hamilton. I couldn't even tell you the big song, if there is one. That is how uninterested I am.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the name your price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
Did you see the new Far Side cartoons?
What is Gary Larson out of retirement?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
He had been talking about it, I think a few months back. There was an announcement that there would be new cartoons, and then we got, I think there's a handful of them that are out now.
No shit. What, are you bored?
Boom.
Huh. Because it's been gone since the 90s. Yeah, 25 years.
I don't know. I checked some of them out. They're full color. They look weird, and I didn't get any of them. So, yeah, it was like Homer Simpson. He finds the Far Side calendar, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So how was any changes on cannabis locally that you see? Still on the carts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've actually extended how much I can make a cart last.
Really? How'd you do that?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't feel like I'm withholding from myself, like I'm, trying to consciously consume less. I just am. And a 1 gram cart, I can stretch out to usually 18 days.
Wow. Good for you. I thought when I got to a week, that was for me. Hey, cool. 4 cartridges is now a month's supply, but damn, 18 days.
And yeah, I get high as fuck when I want to. So yeah, but still, I think all the dispensaries around here still drive up.
Yeah, I converted to delivery. It took me so long to go to delivery, and now I'm never going back. Just bring it to me. I will pay $10 extra. I will pay the cost of a tip for it. It's worth it to me for you to come here, because I'll always order the amount that'll waive the delivery fee. Yeah, great, fine. See you in a month.
Speaking of delivery, reminded me of the story that I was reading in a local online establishment, and the headline of the story was, "Police look to identify a man who allegedly left suspicious item on porch of Dearborn Heights home." And so this was on Friday, July 3rd at approximately 6 p.m., so broad daylight. Didn't say what was in the bag, but said that a suspect, described as a heavy-set black male, wearing a black T-shirt, gray shorts, and black shoes at the time. The video shows him walking up the driveway carrying a small bag. He goes out of view of the video camera when he reaches the front door, but is seen again soon after, this time not carrying the bag. It appears the man then takes a picture of the area where he allegedly left the bag. He then gets into a white SUV that was parked facing the wrong way and drives away.
Was this an Amazon driver?
Any number of deliveries. Like Amazon does that by practice now, but yeah, there's any number of places, because of the contactless delivery.
Yeah,
everyone's offering contact delivery, and that's contactless delivery, and that's how they do it. The guy throws it on your porch, and he takes a picture and say, "Hey, I left it there."
Yeah, I was explaining that to my mom the other day. You know how it works, because I accidentally ordered a sandwich to her house instead of here, because it was the last place I had tried to use my DoorDash. So, but explain to her, like, that's how it goes. Since they just drop stuff off, they still want you to know that they want you to prove, they want to prove, hey, I left it there, so if somebody takes it, they're not liable.
Yeah. Also, that's something somebody does if they were to leave, if they were trying to anonymously leave something harassing or dangerous on your doorstep.
Like how would that have worked with the Unabomber?
Yeah. They don't pull up in a large white SUV, park the wrong way, saunter up your driveway, leave a package, take a picture of it, and then leisurely walk back.
So what? Because this guy was black? Did they think he was a drug dealer?
I guess. It's got to be. This is delivering while black.
And we're in Michigan. It's a legal state. He could be a caregiver. So the fuck what?
Yes.
He could be a caregiver dropping off to his patient.
I don't know. But yeah, not directly related to weed. I just reminded of that. So Biden and Sanders have been talking because, Biden's nervous that he's not going to retain all of the diehard Bernie bros. So he's making honest attempts to align policy as much as possible. And cannabis is one thing that Biden and Sanders didn't really align on.
No, yeah, it's Biden is not very weed friendly.
He still thinks that it's something that most people shouldn't do. He just doesn't want to make it illegal. Whereas Bernie was full on day one, I'll executive order that shit.
Which, I like this. I like where his head's at, but that would have been ludicrous. Right. For day one, really? It's your top priority?
But here's the thing. There's a lot of stories about cannabis and Biden's stance after this, the recent policy discussions that he's had with the Bernie Sanders camp, and saying that, Biden's still only willing to go halfway in on cannabis, basically, is the criticism.
What does that mean?
Halfway in meaning supporting states' decisions, but not willing to do anything about it federally. But this isn't the same case, because what Biden, he and his people are saying is that they believe that getting it off of Schedule 1 is one of the first things they should do when tackling cannabis. And
I was going to say, Joe, you want to make people forget about that crime bill? Decriminalize this shit.
Well, no, but that is decriminalization. That is the only thing that keeps it federally criminal, is being on Schedule 1. So if you deschedule it, you decriminalize it. And so he's still getting criticized because he's saying, well, I'm not willing to go for federal legalization of recreational cannabis. He doesn't have to. Is there federal legalization of alcohol? Or is there just no longer what do they call it?
You could argue the repealing...
What do they call it? What do they call it?
Repealing
when they made it illegal. Prohibition, yes. There's just no longer prohibition.
Repealing that amendment would technically be the federal legalization of it.
Right. Yeah, so that's the best you're ever going to need, really. That is the...
now you're talking about having... Congress would have to agree on something. Because we'd probably need something similar for cannabis, right? Put it in the amendment,
Right, but when you have a majority of both conservatives and liberals that are believing in cannabis legalization of some sort, it makes sense to take it off of Schedule 1. So I think it is something that's accomplishable, and I don't even know that needs to be done through Congress. If Trump can get in there and decide trade policy with China, I mean, that's all Schedule 1 is. It's all these countries agreed on these drugs should be illegal. They have no medicinal purpose. And there's no prohibition on marijuana. There's just the scheduling of marijuana.
That's true. Descheduling would fix a lot of shit.
Yeah. So if Biden's willing to deschedule, take that as a win, cannabis community. Your stocks should be soaring right now.
Well, anywhere where it is legal, that fixes your banking shit right there.
Yes. That's another thing. Yeah, absolutely. It fixes banking. It fixes any problems with the DEA.
Wow, yeah. Descheduling would fix so much. The simple act of descheduling, it would fix so many things just by that one act.
It would leave it completely up to the states. There would be, as far as I know, that would remove any federal enforcement of cannabis. Among the recommendations, lift the budget rider blocking D.C. from taxing and regulating legal marijuana, and remove marijuana use from the list of deportable offenses. I agree with both of those.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, we've talked a lot about D.C. It's been in this limbo. They legalized it, but Congress actually blocked the district from spending any money on implementing a legalization program. So they can't even hire somebody to draft a proposal.
However,
for how to handle legalized cannabis.
Quietly, D.C. is about to become the 51st state here.
Yeah, that might change with that. I wonder if that budget rider block would apply to. I don't think they can just do that with the state.
Correct.
They can't just go, we don't like South Dakota anymore.
Yeah, well, because then it becomes its own entity.
Yeah. And you'd have your own representative there going, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it just like, is it like our version of the Vatican? Just a city we've just kind of cordoned off to be its thing?
I think that's exactly what it is.
Like the Vatican is its own country, technically. It's like the smallest country.
Maybe it's not that then.
It is the smallest country in the world. I remember that from 7th grade geography. Because it's a city that's it's its own sovereign thing. But what is it? What exactly is D.C.? Like I said, is it just a part of Maryland that the government's going, we're using this?
Yeah. All I know is that if they let D.C. become a state, in interest of fairness, they should really give Marvel their own state as well.
Oh, hold on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You deserved it.
Oh, damn. National Kitten Day was also National Oil Day.
Oh, no.
Remember?
Poor
710.
Kittens. Oh, that's right.
Because, if you typed 710 into a calculator and you flipped it around, it would say oily boobs or something. There's a bunch of former High Time staffers that are starting their own paper. Well, I don't know if it's going to be on paper. Oh, no, it's a print magazine. Yeah, it is going to be on paper. A free monthly print magazine focused on the growing cannabis communities. Not the cannabis community that grows cannabis, but the increasing in size cannabis communities.
Who is the baby boomer in charge? Why are you doing anything that involves paper in 2020? Is this going to be something that's like, when you go to the dispensary, it's going to be on the table in the waiting room? One of those papers?
Well, I don't think it's completely ridiculous because in most places, cannabis is still one of those products where you have to go and get it. It's not being delivered. It's not being shipped certainly through like Amazon or Walmart. So, yeah, you got to go someplace. And when you go to that place, well, once people can actually go inside, there's going to be counter space. And it's a free paper and it's about weed.
Yeah? What's it going to be called?
It could be worse ideas. It's going to be called Northeast Leaf. And it's going to be available in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
So, New England.
Yes.
Was New England Leaf taken? Maybe, actually. Probably the name of some company up there that gives you tours in the fall of all the foliage.
Let's see, they've got a quote here from Dan Vinkovetsky.
Oh, that's a name.
Vinkovetsky, who shares in the enthusiasm with several popular magazines all having gone out of print. It makes perfect sense for us to continue our passion for the written word with such a respected, proven brand as The Leaf. And I love that it's free to the public. I don't understand that statement. Considering that many popular print magazines have gone under...
Like, buddy, your first sentence...
I'm excited to be launching a print magazine.
Yeah. Like, the first sentence out of your mouth doesn't send up 1,000 red flags in your head?
Right. Like, this guy realized what he had done halfway through his sentence. As I was explaining it to the journalist that called and asked for a quote, as I was explaining what we were doing to the journalist, I realized, oh my God, I just wasted my life savings.
Oh shit, that was my retirement.
Yeah. Yes, I have a lot of experience in the print industry. I know many people that have worked for many publications that have gone under.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was just at a friend's funeral the other day who committed suicide after their business went under. Oh, God, what have I done?
This just got dark.
Oh, and here's a news flash for you. They've studied cannabis, and you know what they found? Consuming weed can offer immediate relief of depression symptoms.
What? Get out of town.
You feel that shit right away. However, there are no long-term benefits to depression. Again, another no shit. Like,
really?
We consume, whatever your drug of choice is, alcohol, weed, ecstasy. I'm not judging. We all do that to run away from our problems. We know that none of this shit cures depression.
Yeah, but it helps.
In this study, 95.8% of users experienced symptom relief following consumption, with an average symptom intensity reduction of negative 3.76. But do we really need 2 decimal places on this stat? Can we just round up to 4?
Do we think anybody cares about the number either?
Right. I work on parts that go into cars all day, and even my boss says, look, can we cut it to 2 decimal places? We don't need that much precision. So a reduction of negative 3.76 points on a 0 to 10 visual analog scale.
Just say it went down.
With just a link here. No explanation in the body of the article what the fuck a visual analog scale is. Like, we all know that. Oh, yeah, and the VAS? What's your VAS score? I got mine tattooed on my back.
You don't just know yours?
Yes.
I have an app that updates me on mine.
Oh, my God, that is the future, isn't it? Like, our apps on our phone are our phone is literally going to tell us how we're feeling.
Like a mood ring?
The visual analog scale, or VAS, is a psychometric response scale which can be used in questioning. Oh, I do know what this is. It's the chart at the doctor's office, the pain chart.
Oh, really?
So, right, yeah. So if, you get a Mexican dude with a rebar through his thigh, he can just point. Yeah.
Scrubs had a whole segment about that. All the advancements we've made in medical science, and that pain chart is still a thing with the faces on it.
That pain chart was kind of it was a revolutionary idea, and I wish I could find the source. I was listening to a podcast that was actually all about the development of this, and it wasn't just like some asshole doctors being like, I don't know, let's just draw smiley and frowny faces. Like, there's a lot of study that went into it, and it does help, healthcare workers in a lot of situations. But the problem is that it's still biased and subjective.
Well, isn't pain in the eye of the beholder?
But most people don't even register their own pain. Like, for me, I think that I have a really high tolerance for pain. And I believe that I could damn near chart, a relative experience to each one of those different faces, right? Only the last one would be left empty, because I'd be like, a 10? No, a 10 would have to be like car accident and, multiple broken bones and, an operation, and like that would, like full body cast would have to be a 10, right?
Well,
so a 10, but most people, I think they just there's like no pain, splinter, 10.
Well,
right?
That's what I would say, though. Is my 10 your 10? Is my 5 your 5? That's
right.
This could be one of those things in the eye of the beholder. Like, somebody who has a great tolerance for pain, a 10 for me might be a 6 for them,
Right, and most people have just once the pain gets to a certain point, it doesn't even matter if what's the difference to them between a 6 and a 10 anyway. I'm going to tell the doctor that it is a 10 because I want him to do everything that he can to make this go away as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, I think even I've been in situations where I'm in pain and been in a hospital and needed care, and it's frustrating, having to be prioritized and have somebody go, well, look, yeah, you're in a lot of pain and we have pills back there that we could give you, but there's other people in worse situations right now. I get that. I don't want to be the guy who goes in and tries to over dramatize everything to try and get faster service, because there probably is somebody in there that's in a worse situation than I am. I don't know. Why are we talking about pain?
We somehow got on the pain chart. Oh, the weed.
Right.
The symptoms of depression.
A relief in symptoms from depression is one thing. I don't know why they use the visual analog scale for that. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe that is common practice.
Just another thing, just hook it up to the phone.
Because it does have the happy and sad. It's literally doesn't have to represent pain. It could just be emotional pain.
Your phone says you're a 7.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I bet they're already looking into this.
Well, I mean, Bill Gates wants to track all of us anyways. You haven't heard that? You haven't heard all that stuff? He was... it was back in March and April. It was Bill Gates was one of the people behind COVID, so we could start doing things like contact trace.
Oh, right, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll all be willing to sign over our rights, yeah.
Yeah. I gave him points for creativity.
All of this wag the dog conspiracy type of shit makes no sense when it comes to they want us to give up our privacy and they're looking for, because we've already proven that we'll give up our privacy for just anything. It's like, hey, I can rate chicks online. Here's all my information.
Well, to these people that say that, I always want to say, okay, if you have a smartphone anywhere on you, I'm kicking your ass because you already have it.
Yeah.
Everything you're worried about is already going on if you have a smartphone. And I know it's cliche, but I'm at the point in my life where go ahead. If that is going on, have fun. You're not going to see very much.
Well, we're still trying to have discussions about whether it's good or not, and not having the full discussions of it's inevitable. How much of this how much of this information goes to whose hands and what are they allowed to do with it? Those are the questions we have to answer now, not are we okay with this?
Although I got a new computer for work. They shipped it to me. And, we're always told, oh, no, your camera isn't on, and I've always, when I see people who cover up their camera, I'm like, oh, I thought you were smart. It's usually an indicator to me, but the new computer I have came with something to cover up your camera.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're telling us they're not on, but this new computer I just got has something built in to block the camera. It was one of those things that made me go, huh.
But just a little shutter, little slide that goes over.
Yep.
It's a little slide that goes over a fake lens, and there's a little pinhole camera next to it. It's on all the time.
Right. Well, if I didn't think that, I do now.
I have a sticker over mine, but that's only because we don't do video meetings, but every once in a while someone will have their camera on by accident and not realize it, and I don't want to be that dude whose hair is all messed up and you're looking right up his nose. Mm-hmm. And I'm hitting my vape.
Yeah, that too. So, this is the part where I remind you we are on Twitter at the Weisman420, Instagram at the Weisman Podcast, and Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net. If you'd like to send us an email, and ChristopherMedia.net has a PayPal button. It has an Amazon banner you can click through if you want to try to help us out. And then ChristopherMedia.net is also just where you can hear us, as long as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, wherever there's a podcast. We are there. Thanks for listening, and stay high.
Stay high.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.